Well, good evening. My name is Kash Jackson. I'm a retired Navy veteran. I live about 6 hours north, right up near the Wisconsin border. So I'm north of you I-80 folk. So I hope you don't hold that against me. It wasn't really my decision, other than my children are up there. So I wanted to be near them once I retired from the Navy. And that's why I reside up there right now. Like John, I was down here not too terribly long ago. I was down at the picnic. I was also down at the DuQuoin County Fair, where I had the pleasure of being down there with Preston and several others. I had the distinct pleasure of sleeping in the back of a Ford Focus for I think 3 nights, and at 6'2" in the back of a Ford Focus, while all of the fair individuals were partying until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Let me ask a question.
Yes, sir.
I mean, interrupt.
No, sir.
Who got the veggie burger?
Who got the veggie burger? That's got to be Matt.
This gentleman right here.
Okay, did you want fries and open with it, or you just like, oh,
Cash, if you can get by this, if you can get by water, the veggie burger.
I want this in the video, by the way. The veggie burger. I've been all over. It's like John said, campaigning as a gubernatorial candidate, you're statewide, it is hard. It is really hard work, but it's very enjoyable. It's very rewarding work. You get to get out and meet people from all over, and from Lake County to here, over to Peoria, and back again. I've really enjoyed the last 12 months of campaigning. Well, it'll be 12 months come about March. What got me into campaigning as a governor candidate? Why did I want to do this? Taking on a task to do something this monumental, well, we either A, enter into it because we have a personal reason, or B, we've really just seen that there's a distinct need for something different in our state, and we want to contribute to that in whatever way that we can. And for me, that was to run as a gubernatorial candidate. I felt that this would be the best use of my time. I just retired last year. Throughout my Navy service, I had the opportunity to serve all over the country. I've been all over the world. I've circumnavigated the globe, albeit we cheated. We did take the submarine to the top of the world, and we hit the smallest circle humanly possible. We hit all the lines, but I circumnavigated the globe. Afterwards, we spent 3 weeks underneath the polar ice caps, and we brought a submarine from the East Coast over to the West Coast. So if you don't know, it's eerily quiet underneath the ice caps. And but what I got to experience and what I got to do in my military service was see exactly what liberty and freedom looked like outside of Illinois. And many of you have lived here your entire lives. Many of you have never traveled outside the state. And some people would see that as a bad thing, that as a candidate, I'm not from Illinois. I see it as a good thing. It's a strength, because I have experience and wisdom and knowledge about what liberty and freedom looks like in different states. When you travel down to Arkansas, where I recruited down there, and it's much more lax on the Second Amendment, and you can exercise your ability to keep and bear arms very freely without having to get permission from the state. When you can go to Washington State, where they've already legalized cannabis many months ago, and they're not incarcerating people for a victimless crime, and you see that broadens and it improves the morale of the people, because their people are not being imprisoned for victimless crimes. See, the experience that I gained in the military, I think, is one of my most valuable tools and assets, and what I bring to the Libertarian Party. It's something that where I had the opportunity to learn a lot of life lessons, a lot of valuable lessons about leadership, about working with different types of people from different backgrounds, and not focusing on what is different about us, but what is similar about us. What unites us as human beings? Really just the basic things. That we want to live and we want to prosper. We want to raise our children. We want to leave something better behind for future generations. And John hit it all on the head. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and regurgitate statistics and facts to you, because you're engaged, and many of you guys already know what it looks like, that people are leaving the state in droves. How many of you guys in here, just by a show of hands, how many of you in here have relatives or friends outside the state that can't believe that you're still in the state right now? How many of you?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of you. How many of you have ever experienced when you left the state and you told somebody, I'm from Illinois? Did you ever have a hint of shame about that? And be honest, right? Because you know what's the response going to be.
People's Republic of Illinois.
Yeah. Why in God's name would you still be in the state of Illinois? What makes you stay there? For many of us, it's our families. That's what it is for me. Were it not for my children being here, I wouldn't be here. In full honesty, I wouldn't. And so I could retire from the Navy. I could have went to a small farm, bought a small farm down in Missouri, retired down there, spent my days fishing and hunting and raising chickens and goats and, you know, growing cannabis in my backyard if I wanted to do that, whatever. But that's not what my future holds. I want to be near my children. I want to raise my children, and I want to leave something better behind for future generations. And I think we've got a veggie burger.
That fish burger, there's 2 sweet ties and a cake to go.
I don't think anyone here has anything.
Was it a quesadilla?
I got the quesadilla on the way.
Oh, okay.
But I'm glad I know who it is.
This is going to be the best video ever. You can do so much with
30 years from now, we'll be known as the veggie
You can
burger.
do so much with this.
Hey, that guy really cares about people's orders, though.
That guy is on it.
He is taking care of it.
You know what? Hey, and that is the free marketing capitalism at work. Right there. That guy's taking care of his customers. We have a commitment to our state. That's why many of us are here. Many of you guys are here in this room right now because you're committed to change and you want to be a part of that. You might not want to run for governor. You might not want to even run for a local seat. But you want to be involved and you're here. You're here to learn and to contribute and to see what you can do on an individual level to make change in the state that you call home. I'm doing the same thing the best way that I know how, running as a governor candidate. And you guys have a problem that I'm glad I don't have. There's only one person that I have to choose for governor. And you're looking at it. You got 3 great candidates to pick from. Y'all got a very difficult job come March. And I hope that if you haven't bought your tickets, you need to go ahead and buy them. And be there at the state convention. Be there to the end. And whoever that candidate is, whether it's Matt or John or me, that you stay committed to that fight. If it's me that you want to see elected in March, and I don't get it, I would still hope that when it comes time to get those petition signatures, you're going to be out there with me beating the ground, getting the signatures for the candidate that was chosen by the party in March. Because that's what I'm going to be doing. Whether or not I receive the nomination, it's not going to be because I didn't put in the work and the effort for you guys. I have a strong work ethic. I believe in putting my money where my mouth is and leading from the front. I would never ever ask one of you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Recently I had the pleasure, I was up in Fox Valley. They needed support getting petition signatures for veggie burgers.
Thank you.
For a tax, they wanted to repeal a tax rule or a trash tax and a home rule tax. And so they solicited for volunteers, and I went down and I was able to collect, I think, somewhere around 120 signatures for those guys. I love the party because it stands on maximizing liberty and minimizing the government. We all know what a cumbersome government Illinois has. We know how it's affecting us and our families. We know what it looks like when money is being funneled from the southern part of the state up into Chicago, and that you guys are driven to the feeling as though we would love to succeed, succeed from the state. We don't want to be a part of Chicago. We want to take I-80 and be our own state. And who could blame you? I couldn't blame you. It was the same way whenever I was stationed up in Washington State and how Seattle was viewed there. That politically speaking, the east side of the state didn't see politics the same as the west side of the state. And they wanted the same thing. But I would encourage you not to think that way. Because if we are divided, we shall certainly fall. But if we stay united, we can stay. But we have to do it by focusing on what unites us. It is who we are as people. It is your families. It's what you want for your families. That is what unites us. And we have to carry that message from here to March until November. John's right. The ability to get attention from the media is important. But please don't sit in your seat and say, Cash, what are you going to do to get media attention? Don't ask Matt, what are you going to do to get media attention? Ask yourself, what am I going to do to help get Cash and Matt or John media attention? Am I going to be sending emails and phone calls to the Chicago Tribune? Am I going to be calling my local news and radio stations and trying to help set up interviews for these guys? Am I going to be engaged from now until November to ensure that our candidate has the best possible chance to break 5% and make us an established party in this state? It is not my responsibility. It is our responsibility. It's how you and I engage in the fight together. And it's not one person. I'm not somebody that can come in on a horse and some armor and save the world. Every single person in this room is in the same damn ship. Right now, we all recognize the ship is sinking. But you can't look at one man or one woman and say, what are you going to do to save me? You have to say to yourself, I'm on the same ship and I'm going to get a bucket and I'm going to start freaking dumping water overboard. Because I got to do my part. If we do that, we will not only succeed, but we will excel come November. We will surpass what the Republicans and Democrats and those who say that we cannot succeed as a third party, we will silence the naysayers. But it can only be done when every single person recognizes their importance and what they can contribute to the fight. You all are inherently valuable to this. Every single one of you will play a part in the success or failure of this party and the state. And what you choose to do day in and day out, how you spend your time promoting the party, that's what's going to make all of us successful. And so you got to choose the one man right now that you feel will be best suited to lead you in that fight. And that's a hard choice. That's a hard damn choice you guys have. And I'm glad I don't have it. But I would ask you to examine my past and my history. Examine John's, examine Matt's. Where have they been? Where have I been? What have they done? What have I done? As a candidate and as a voter, I would encourage you to look at what somebody has already done, not what they're promising that they're going to do. I've put my money where my mouth is now for the last 12 months, almost. And even so before then. I've been fighting for liberty and freedom for over 20 years in some capacity. Because I love my country and I love this state, I love my family, and I care about the Constitution, and I care about liberty and freedom, and I want to see other people come to understand what the Libertarian Party can deliver to them. I have no doubt I'm the candidate that can get that done for you. But I can't do it without your help. That I'll promise you. I can't do it on my own. Nor can either one of these guys. But what I will promise you is that if you give me 110%, I'm going to give you 110%. You will see the very best of Kash Jackson in the fight to run for governor in this state. I've already got quite a substantial social media following. I think somewhere a little over 20,000 people follow me on social media right now. Mainstream media is being outcasted. People are fed up with how the mainstream media promotes and spins their ideologies and just their viewpoints. People are going to alternative media. They're going to social media to get their news and their information. They're reaching out, and we are connecting on far greater of a level than we've ever done before as a nation, courtesy of social media, courtesy of capitalism, courtesy of promoting the free market and for something different. That's what I know how to leverage. And when they see the successes we begin to have, the mainstream media will come because they're going to know there's something different about the party this year. They won't know quite what it is, but they're going to know there is something different. And this party is engaged. They are motivated. They're dedicated. They're beating the streets. We see them everywhere. And when people see that, they begin to talk. And when people begin to talk, messages and communication begins to happen. When we all do that collectively as a party, we will succeed. We will do far greater than 5%. There's no wins that we cannot achieve together. But it's going to be you working with me and working together to get it done. My name is Kash Jackson. I hope to be your gubernatorial candidate in 2018. But if I'm not, that's okay. I'm still going to fight for the party. Thank you guys for having me down. I'm going to enjoy my beer and my cold grits and shrimp. Thank you guys so much.